Tomas, was this really a day of judgment?
There was no Finn Balor, no Rhea Ripley. There was Dominic Mysterio, and there was no Andy
Barely.
McDonough. There was no Finn Balor. So I was mostly disappointed.
Yeah, no, Dominic Mysterio is not in the Eddie Guerrero Rey Mysterio storyline yet. Not yet. I stress that. But yeah, we got a big one. Judgment Day 2005 emanating from Minneapolis, Minnesota. This show, man, this is one I was probably most excited to talk about just because everybody talks about like the big three of the best shows of this year. Mania, ECW One Night Stand, and Vengeance. Nobody lumps Judgment Day in there. And I think
Nobody
Judgment.
does. I feel like there's a lot of hidden gem pay-per-views of this year that we're going to cover. When you said that, SummerSlam popped to mind. I thought SummerSlam was a very good show.
Yeah, no, that was a good show. I enjoyed that one, but not as much as this one. This was a SmackDown.
Absolutely.
This was a SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view, and we've been ravaged with a bunch of shitty SmackDown shows on this retrospective over the past year. My God, was this a breath of fresh air? This show was awesome. This show was so awesome.
Is one thing and one person I'm going to give credit to around this time. Honestly, it's Vince McMahon. Around
Yeah.
this era, his storytelling was on another level. And I feel like with a lot of feuds, whether it be Raw or SmackDown going on at this time, storytelling was a huge focal point of it. Can you believe there was a time where Vince McMahon did take long-term booking into consideration, whether we're talking about Batista and Triple H, whether we're talking about John Cena and JBL, this being the culmination of their big feud, and the beginning of Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, even though, in my
Yes.
opinion, as we go on, a little monkey wrench is going to get thrown into that plan, and that's Vince McMahon can't
Mm-hmm.
help himself. He's got to put
Well,
his own weird little spin on everything.
I 100% agree because there are a couple of angles just on this pay-per-view. Like if you had like just given me the marquee of what both of these matches are, that would have sold me on it like just based on the fact that it was going to be a great match. But Vince could not help himself but throw those monkey wrenches into the equation to make it a WWE soap opera angle. Um I don't really know what else to say to that because
One
it's like
feud in
ugh.
particular is starting off very good, but once you get into the Great American Bash, that's when it gets a little weird. You look at the dynamic of the feud, and you're just like, did this component really need to be there? We always talk about if you're going to do rematches for titles, if you're going to do rematches in general, you need to add another layer onto the story. And I
Mhm.
get them wanting to add another layer to this story, but it's a layer that really wasn't needed. Was it a storytelling element that kind of turned into a meme that's going on to this day? Absolutely, yes. But
Yes.
you look at it and you're just like, huh, did it really need it? And
No,
we'll be
probably
getting
not.
into that. We'll be getting into that with the semi-main. But this
Mhm.
was all around a pretty good show. Even the bad parts, I was able to find a little glimmer of good in basically every match.
Oh yeah. No, definitely glimmers of good in every match. Maybe except for one. I don't know if we're thinking of the same match or not, but we'll find out as we go through this. But
Well, there's only two that come to mind.
yeah. May 22nd, 2005 was actually my little brother's birthday weekend. He had just wrapped up a big birthday party that he had with all of his, like, they were like little toddlers at this point, but I remember having a bunch of fun with my brother and his friends that day. And me and my best friend ordered this pay-per-view because it went on right afterwards, and we had pizza that night, and we were just stoked to watch John Cena. I have so many childhood memories of going back and watching this live. I have the DVD up there somewhere, and I watched that thing so much. So I know this show pretty well. I can't wait to
Same
get into it.
here. This was in the era where me and a friend from elementary school were doing the trade-off thing, and this is the beginning of it. He ordered Backlash, so I thought, let me repay the favor and get Judgment Day. And it kind of for a while was he was getting the Raw shows and I was getting the SmackDown shows, or whatever would be the trade-off with that. So I remember this show very, very well. And we are
Mm-hmm.
opening up with basically, this is going to tie into another big story here.
Yes.
For the WWE Tag Team titles, it's Charlie Haas and Bob Holly, Hardcore Holly, challenging the new team of M&M. That's Joey Mercury,
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Nitro, and their valet, Melina. We've talked about
Yes.
Johnny Nitro a little here on the retro before. He was a tough enough competitor, and he became kind of Eric Bischoff's lackey for a minute while he was dealing with an injury. That never really took off. He went back to developmental. They repackaged him, put him in a tag team with Joey Mercury, and here they are M&M, and their big gimmick is they're like movie stars with the paparazzi gimmick. They
I
love having
fucking love Eminem. I fucking love Eminem.
Such an underrated tag team, and this was part of Vince McMahon's tropes that was very popular around this time. Here's a brand new shiny toy that is a new tag team. Let's immediately slap the tag team titles onto them, and they either sink or swim. I don't think they sink or swim. I think they stayed afloat for a good part of their career.
Oh yeah,
the gun a little, but Eminem did stick around for a couple of years until permanently breaking off. And this was Johnny Nitro, John Morrison's big chance to become a single star. But this was honestly the tag team division. We talked about this a lot. There were really no established tag teams, and even though this tag team wasn't very established on the scene, they played a pivotal part that was the Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio story. And just to give a little jump start on that feud, Eddie and Rey had just finished their big WrestleMania match. There's kind of tensions there. And while they're discussing their match on Carlito's Cabana, out rolls the red carpet out of nowhere. Eminem appear. They challenge Eddie and Rey for the tag team titles. And because Eddie and Rey aren't really on the same page, they're able to capitalize and they win the tag team titles, basically getting the tag titles away from Eddie and Rey. And here they are defending them here.
How much, sorry to cut you off real quick, but how much does that tell you about how big of the high hopes Eminem would have going in if they're beating Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio on night one? Yeah. Vince McMahon wanted these two guys to get over as much as he possibly could. And these guys, with their gimmick and their in-ring work as a tag team, because they are a stellar tag team, if you ask me, when you go into the actual ring work. These guys.
You know how I compared the Heartthrobs to Pretty Deadly? No. I feel like Eminem is a lot better precursor to Pretty Deadly.
And watching this, so much better than Pretty Deadly.
You say Mercury and Nitro. They wanted them to succeed. I feel like Vince had his eye more on their valet Melina, because she had a gimmick that, holy hell, for Sacramento girl. Girl, love her.
That's
From
right.
Sacramento, now residing in Los Angeles. Jacob, he had a great story about Melina on our WrestleMania vlog.
He met her.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Melina had a certain gimmick that when I was rewatching this show, I was like, holy hell, what an X-rated gimmick that they very much toned down going into the PG era. Melina's entrance, I feel like she got a lot of inspiration from one Stacy Keibler, because first of all, take the sexuality out of it. This is very impressive on Melina's part. So basically,
it's a damn impressive entrance.
Very flexible woman. And she basically does the splits from the floor to the ring apron and slides in. And let's say before they toned it down, she would always wear a miniskirt. So if you were sitting a mile away, you got to show. They would never show this on TV, but it was very much implied, Cole and Taz being the horny dogs they were on commentary, were commenting on that a lot.
Oh, and Taz especially.
The biggest thing about this gimmick that Vince liked.
Yeah, no, Melina was so over with the fans. The fans absolutely loved her, even though she was bashing them before the match. Eminem is going in there. They're defending the titles against the random tag team of Bob Holly and Charlie Haas. I mean, honestly, if you look at this match on paper, the results should be set in stone. You're putting Eminem over, and you want to make sure that they hold on to these titles at least for a little bit to establish them as a team. Of course they're going to beat Bob Holly and Charlie Haas. Yeah, only a little bit.
Yeah, they're going to be holding these tag team titles for a while. They drop them here and there, but get used to Eminem, because they're going to be dominating the SmackDown scene. They're going to be part of the main event scene, too, in just a few months. But, we tease about Holly and Haas being a random tag team, but
because they are.
I have my feelings about Holly. I feel like Holly and Haas were the perfect opponents because they're veterans of the business, and they can easily guide these two, rookies to a fairly decent match. And I think they did.
Totally. No, I thought it was a really good opener for what it was. It was very fast-paced. These guys only got 8 minutes of ring work. Bob Holly was the heat guy. So Charlie Haas, of all people, I know we've joked about him over the past year or so in the retro, but I swear to God, this guy looks like a precursor of Chad Gable in this match. It was so bizarre watching him, because he does a big old gigantic plancha over the top rope, and Michael Cole is putting it over. I've never seen that from Charlie Haas before. And the fact that, the fact that Charlie Haas is getting up and like just amping it up with the crowd, and the crowd is getting behind him too. I was looking at him and I'm like, this is Chad Gable right now. This is Chad Gable right now. This is so weird.
I think what hurt both Haas and Benjamin in the long run is that they were fantastic wrestlers, but neither of them really had charisma. They tried with both of them. They gave Haas, the ballet, they gave him the soap opera story. And then Benjamin, they tried with the Mr. Benjamin thing. Thank God that never took off. And I feel like it was very so apparent, even on TV, when we go later on with the Raw stuff, Vince McMahon straight up telling Benjamin that you have no personality. You're a fantastic wrestler, but you have no charisma. They tried to give him, the llama thing. They gave him, the shades and the Hawaiian shirt. And I feel like even in his latter run, they always tried something with Benjamin and Haas because apparently good wrestling wasn't enough to get them over. I feel like it's the same problem Vince had with like Claudio Castagnoli.
Yeah.
Vince felt that every single person on the roster needed a gimmick.
That is
not to go on too much of a tangent here, but
that's fine.
Like that's what held Haas and Benjamin back the most.
That's such an excellent point, and I'm so glad you brought that up because I was just about to say, when you look at the world's greatest tag team, and when you look at how both of these guys were pushed as singles guys, Shelton got a lengthy run with the Intercontinental title, which is ending very soon, mind you. Vince really did not know what he had. If he's telling Shelton Benjamin, of all people, that he has no personality, the guy who would later go on to become the gold standard in 2008, of course Vince didn't know what he had. Charlie Haas, I mean, he's clearly the Marty Jannetty of that pair, so it's a much different story in that regard, but go ahead.
I also remembered a very, very, very interesting factoid, how Haas is on John Morrison's debut pay-per-view in the WWE. Yeah. Fast forward 4 years later, when Benjamin and Haas would reunite for the third time as the world's greatest tag team, Haas is in Benjamin's corner for an excellent match with John Morrison, and he is part of a huge spot where Morrison does a springboard 450, and Haas is there to catch him.
Yeah. Oh,
so what a crazy aspect that Haas has been there for some of Morrison's biggest moments.
Right? Yeah. This is just crazy to think about. And I'm happy that John Morrison has finally come into the retrospective pods full time because I'm a big fan of him and I can't wait to talk about him more. But him and Mercury gel so incredibly well in this match. I was kind of surprised looking back on it, not only of how great the match was, Melina in Eminem's corner, she hadn't really gotten the screaming gimmick over yet, where she has this shrill cry at ringside every time something positive happens for her boys. But I don't think that was happening yet. I was waiting for that shriek, but I was like, okay, no, it's not this show. It's not this show where it comes around. But Charlie Haas
had a pretty good finisher too in the snap.
Yes. Yeah, which is crazy because the referee is distracted by something. John Morrison illegally gets involved. I know he's Johnny Nitro at this point. I'm instinctively going to call him John Morrison because that's what I know him really?
as. The guy that's gone by Johnny Nitro, John Morrison, John Hennigan, Johnny Mundo, Johnny Elite, Johnny Impact, Johnny TV,
Johnny Big Time,
Johnny Big Time, Johnny all this stuff. Really
Johnny Survivor. Johnny Survivor.
A hard time picking a name for him.
Yeah, no, Morrison is just the name I know him best as. That was his best run, but he goes into the ring with Mercury while the referee is distracted. It's a double team move. They hit what's known as the snapshot, which is an awesome move for name for a paparazzi gimmick. And Charlie Haas is pinned. Eminem retains.
It's basically an elevated DT.
Yeah, the crowd really got into this thing, man, and I think. Despite what I said earlier about Holly and Haas being the underdogs and not having a chance in hell, there were a couple of points where Charlie Haas had some inside cradles going on Mercury. He very likely could have pulled an upset, and this crowd was into this thing hook, line, and sinker. I'm going to go 3 stars. I enjoyed this.
Same here. This was a lot better than it needed to be, and like you said, Holly and Haas maybe pulling an upset. This is Vince's new shiny toy. There was no way in hell, and as you see, we go on later this year, Vince loves these guys, and I feel like the team got treated well.
They did. He loves them, and he loves Melina as well. He very much loves Melina. But
oh yes, he does.
Yeah, but I mean, even when you say that, Holly and Haas having no chance in hell, the thing that makes Charlie Haas and Hardcore Holly so good in this match is they made this crowd buy into the fact that they could possibly beat these blokes for the belts, you know? Because this crowd of Minneapolis was hot. You know, like they were hot all night, but the fact that this was the opener, I think, also had a key part in why they were so excited for this thing. But I enjoyed it. It was a lot better than I remembered it being.
We're also 1 month away from the draft, but I feel like here finally SmackDown is utilizing the roster that they have better on pay-per-view than opposed to, say, last year.
Yeah. Oh, 2004 SmackDown pay-per-views were no bueno, aside from No Way Out. But,
no.
Okay. Speaking of talent who I think they're utilizing a lot better, we have a one-on-one grudge match up next. The large performance, the Big Show, is going one-on-one with Carlito, Caribbean Cool.
You know what I realized?
Yeah.
I don't remember when they dropped the Caribbean Cool from his name.
I don't either.
It's a lot easier to call him Carlito, but he did do this Carlito Caribbean Cool, and
he did.
Silently dropped it.
It was like, it's almost like dropping Alexander from Alexander Rusev. Like, there's no real explanation behind it. Vince just like, I think this is the first instance where Vince decided to shorten the names just to one. And it's, I don't know.
You could have called him Triple C. Well, no, I don't think Triple H would have appreciated that. But,
Hunter would not have liked that. Hunter would not have liked that.
But I think it's a lot easier to call him Carlito. And, all jokes aside that I've made about Carlito so far,
yes,
Carlito really did have a very rocky start to his career. He was a shiny new toy last year. Vince immediately slapped the United States title on him, but that was just to get Cena off TV to film the Marine. But then Carlito gets with a kayfabe injury, just so Carlito can get injured for real. He has to sit on the shelf for the rest of the year. Sure, he has a WrestleMania spot.
Tore his tricep, I believe.
Yeah. So he's relegated to, backstage segments, just being in the corner. That kind of totally derailed the feud he had going with John Cena. Sure, he had the cool WrestleMania spot, but now 6 months later, he's finally able to get in there. And this is
this is a weird feud. How do we get here? How do we get here?
Carlito had Big Show on Carlito's Cabana, which I think was a very underrated TV show segment. A lot happened on that show.
Love that set.
I mean, it's where the Eddie and Ray feud really got, I feel like talk show segments, that's what they need to be used for. It needs to be like an internal Jerry Springer to the craziness that WWE already is. You think about, Piper's Pit with the coconut. You think about the barbershop. What do you remember from the barbershop? You remember Shawn Michaels throwing Marty Jannetty through the window. You don't remember anything else. But I feel like that's what talk show segments need to be. But anywho, Big Show's on the Cabana. Carlito is roasting him for losing that sumo match. And Carlito's gimmick was spitting the apple in the faces of people he didn't think was cool. And you could telegraph when he was going to do it because he'd take a big bite of the apple. He'd be throwing it up and down. Big Show sees it coming. He grabs the apple, takes a big chomp out of it, but it starts to make the Big Show sick. And I will say Carlito does deliver a pretty good line here. He says, you know what they say, it takes one bad apple to spoil the entire bunch. So he basically poisoned the apple on purpose, knowing that the Big Show was going to take a bite out of it. And you know what? Good heel tactics on Carlito's part.
I mean, it's no tranquilizer dart or anything, but I think it's pretty clever. Carlito, I think it also should be noted around this point, he had lost his right-hand man, Jesus, his bodyguard. Remember the guy that stabs John Cena in the nightclub so he could go film the Marine? Yeah, great angle. But
John Cena versus Jesus?
Yeah. I remember that too. But Carlito is in the market for a new bodyguard. And he sees that the Big Show has lost opportunities at the WWE Championship this year, not once, but twice. And he's also lost the sumo match. So he kind of notices that Big Show's in a bit of a rut, but Carlito has the solution for the Big Show, okay? You know what? There's strength in numbers. There's strength in numbers, Big Show. You can be my bodyguard. You can be my bodyguard.
You could say Carlito had the blueprint.
Yeah, so who turns out to be Carlito's bodyguard? It's revealed on the Go Home SmackDown that it's Matt Morgan. Who forgot that Matt Morgan appeared in WWE in 2005? Raise your hand in the comments.
This is Vince's second attempt at Morgan. But you know what? I'm going to give Vince a little more credit here. Well, no, it's a two-way street. Number one, again, Vince feels the need that every single person needs a gimmick.
Yeah.
And here's another thing. I feel like Carlito wasn't established that well. Him having a heavy is not the issue. I just feel like he wasn't established well enough for him to, like, go and like elevate somebody like that. You look at, Bryan Danielson and Eric Rowan. I think whoever your heater is, you need to elevate them to look as badass as possible to be scared of them. You
Exactly.
say what you want about Tomko, but I think pairing him with Christian Cage was really good. Danielson and Rowan was really good, but Carlito wasn't really all that established yet to really elevate someone. The other issue is that Vince wanted he wanted Matt Morgan to have a stutter. I'm not making fun of anyone with speech impediments, by the way. It's just what Vince wanted. Morgan had a stutter.
He's got challenges. He's got challenges. Yeah, and Carlito. Yeah.
Matt Morgan is blander than a piece of tofu.
That's putting it nicely. That is putting it very nicely. Matt Morgan sucks. He very much I hate to not beat around the bush here, but Matt Morgan is terrible. Tomas and I were talking about this earlier. Who here can name us one good Matt Morgan match? I think it's
TNA run.
I think it's impossible. It is.
I have watched the majority of Matt Morgan's run in TNA because, spoiler alert, this doesn't work out for him. And TNA thinks they have something in him. Just to name off some. The horrendous match he had with Hernandez. The First Blood match. The
forgot about that.
Awful match he had with Mr. Anderson for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Terrible match he had with Daniels.
Out of Christopher Daniels. A great wrestler. He can't get a good match out of Matt Morgan.
The only matches I can think of that were good were multi-man matches, like Monsters Ball. This guy is just...
He sucks.
He sucks. He sucks.
Yeah.
But Vince was trying to get him over because he's a big, beefy guy. And you know how Vince likes his big, beefy men.
Yeah, but in any regard, why Carlito needs a heater and why it can't just be the Big Show going in there and squishing him like a bug after 5 minutes after, getting poisoned by an apple? I don't know.
You know what? This match was halfway decent.
It was.
Everything leading up to the finish, I thought was fun.
I told you, Carlito can get a decent match out of people. I told you.
I don't think it was Carlito that did it. He was doing some fun heel things like running away from Big Show. The crowd was really into this pay-per-view, by the way. And, he was getting the crowd into it with his quiet chops. We talk about Gunta's chops. I don't think we give Big Show enough credit for his. I feel like he was the originator of those big chops.
That big chop honestly made me appreciate the Big Show so much more when I was a kid, and it made me love the Big Show because he would always interact with the people out there and he would tell them, hey, shh, be quiet. I think he actually got that idea over because, say Tomas and I go to an indie show and we're watching a big Haas fest going on, like Big Fonz versus JR Kratos. We were constantly standing up and telling the crowd, hey, shh, quiet. We want to hear these chops. Shh.
It's a great staple that Big Show introduced to pro wrestling. But like you said, before this match even gets off the ground, was it the referee? The referee got knocked down, or did he just get distracted?
So what happened ref Brian Hebner bumped to the floor after Carlito was whipped into him. Now it becomes a handicap match. Matt Morgan lumbers into the ring, probably stumbles on the way in. Thankfully, does not tear his quad like someone else I know. He picks the Big Show up, and God, this makes me so upset right now. He hits Big Show with an F5. They were still, number one, they're still so freaking petty that Brock Lesnar left to go try out for the Minnesota Vikings like he was at this time. But the other thing is, what balls WWE has to pull this in Brock Lesnar's hometown? Because remember, this took place in Minneapolis.
You know what offends me more about this?
Yeah.
That Vince was willing to give Lesnar's finisher to Matt Morgan. He really had high hopes for this guy. But you know what? He didn't succeed before. He wasn't going to succeed now. And on top of all of that, you hindered him with the shitty gimmick.
Yeah. That's honestly a huge insult to Brock Lesnar that Matt Morgan used his move to end a match. Carlito goes in there. He scurries in to pick up the scraps. The referee has come to, and Carlito pins the Big Show on pay-per-view. Match was decent up until the wonky finish. I'm going to go...
Star and a half.
Star and three-quarter, I think, because I appreciate Big Show and Carlito as workers, and I think they had a halfway decent match until Matt Morgan ruined it. But
I'll give it a
thankfully,
star and a half. The commentators were like trying to put it over huge that Morgan used the F5. But you know what? I think this is the one and only time we're going to talk about Morgan, his pairing with Carlito. Again,
because
this did not work.
spoiler alert, there is a draft coming up. They split up Carlito and Matt Morgan in the draft. Carlito picks up his belongings and takes his cabana over to Monday Night Raw. Matt Morgan is left all alone with a stuttering gimmick and a pink slip, literally a couple months later. Like,
I will give credit to this. Remember on the DVDs, the exclusives, like the featurettes?
yeah.
There is actually a pretty damn funny one where I think it's Todd Grisham. He's trying to interview Carlito and Morgan after the match, and Carlito gives credit to Morgan for helping him win, and all Morgan is trying to say is thank you. But it takes them like literally 5 minutes, and they do a bunch of outtakes of it. And you know what? It was pretty damn funny.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, making fun of people with speech impediments, too.
Oh, that's Vince's specialty, though.
Yeah.
Little people, speech impediments.
Fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. Yeah, it's don't like him and his ideas at all.
Being black? Yes. Stay tuned for a couple of months where Vince McMahon parodies something, and it didn't age well.
Nope. Yeah, it does not age well if you really think about it. But up next, I'm not going to get into this Booker T, Kurt Angle dilemma yet. This is the point where they played the video package, but we'll get into the backstory when we actually get to that match. But Booker T and Sharmell are backstage in the dressing room. Somebody delivers a package for Sharmell, and yeah, there's some crude stuff in there. And I guess it comes from Kurt Angle. Booker T is livid, and he decides that he does not want to wait for the match, and he goes to search for Kurt Angle. So the next logical step isn't to go to that match, it's to go to another title bout.
No. Also, let's just talk about this now since we're on the subject. Booker is looking for Angle throughout the dressing rooms and the bathrooms. He stumbles upon Billy Kidman in the bathroom, and the only thing I can think of is, Kidman, why the fuck are you in gear? You ain't fucking
right? I thought he was, I feel shitty. I thought he was released by this point, but I guess not. I guess he wasn't.
The Kidman is literally in his trunks, his boots. He's taping up his wrists, and I'm like, "What the fuck?"
He's got his.
Doing? You are not.
He's got his shooting star gimmick draped over the stall.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I'm just sitting there like, what? Are you expecting someone to get injured and they ask you to take their place? You know, and then they go into the locker room. You see Holly and Haas. They'd already wrestled the match, so they're just there. And then you see Shannon Moore. And Shannon Moore's not in his gear.
Scotty too hottie.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, they're there because they have to be there. But Kidman, he's literally taping up his wrist like he's gonna wrestle John Cena in the main event. What the fuck?
Maybe you should give JBL a shooting star press and injure him so he can actually take his place. But
speaking of Kidman, his former tag team partner Paul London is now the Cruiserweight champion, and he's defending against one Chavo Guerrero. We talked about London. He is now a star. I mean, they really put the rocket to this kid, and they should, because London is a fantastic worker. He defeats Chavo for the Cruiserweight Championship, and this is the rematch. I remember as a kid loving this match, and here rewatching it, it's such a hidden gem. Yeah. London and Chavo have such good chemistry in this match, and let me tell you how good London is. My mom's not the biggest wrestling fan, but she watched this pay-per-view with me. At the end of this match, she looked at him and goes, I like that Paul London guy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's nuts, man. Paul London is a hidden
Paul London fan. It's crazy.
He's a hidden gem of the Ruthless Aggression era, man. He was brought up through the Ring of Honor pipeline before Ring of Honor became like the spot for the next WWE stars like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan and what have you. Paul London was an ROH pioneer. He is a masterful seller. Chavo Guerrero was getting the heat on this guy, and you just cannot help but pull for Paul London. And the fact that he can like portray an underdog so incredibly well, even going in as the Cruiserweight champion of the world, that's a testament to that man's talent. He was so damn good in the ring. So damn good.
Chavo doesn't get enough credit for what a technical mastermind he is.
Yeah. Chavo. Chavo's the man, dude. Chavo is the man.
in cruiserweight matches, they're not known for their high flying abilities. They're there for like, grounding the high flyers in the submission game. And in the latter half of his career, they would always say Chavo is the mastermind at working a body part. And I feel like they would just say that about any heel. But with Chavo, it was really true.
Yeah, it was. His finisher, he doesn't do any springboard moonsaults, nothing like that. I mean, he did implement the frog splash after his uncle had passed away, but his finisher was the gory bomb, which was literally he had a guy like in a webbed position on his back and he just dropped them face first. It was a face buster. Yeah. Like
Eddie's father's finisher, Gory Guerrero.
Crazy. Bomb. That is absolutely nuts, man. But
it's a fantastic move.
It is.
I'm having a little bit of Mandela effect right now. I could have swore London bladed in this match.
No, there was no blood, but Paul London did take a stiff bump on the outside. Like, Chavo had fallen to the floor. Paul London does a huge somersault plancha, lands fucking tailbone first on the floor, and Chavo, like, you can see Chavo's head bounce off the floor, too.
Yeah, and I'm like, fucked up there. Did Chavo not catch him properly, or did London just miss?
I think it was just, like, the placement was a bit off. Maybe Chavo was standing in the wrong spot, London aimed incorrectly. I don't know. There was a bit of a miscommunication there.
Also, London selling. Holy shit.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, no, like I said, masterful seller. Probably one of the best sellers in the company at this point. I'm serious. Paul London was that damn good, y'all. What? Like, if you've never seen any Paul London matches from back in the early 2000s, please do yourself a favor. Go back, watch his ROH stuff. Watch his match at No Mercy against Billy Kidman. That's a hidden gem as well. And watch this match. Because the fact that,
unfortunately, London was in an era of WWE where, like, the women got pushed to the side. If you were under 200 pounds, you were relegated to the cruiserweight division, and unless your name was Rey Mysterio, there was no room for you to grow. Like, This was a time period for WWE where you would never see London challenge for the WWE Championship. He had a ceiling, and that was the cruiserweight title or the tag team titles, which I'm not going to talk about because that's way down the storyline, and that involves Eminem. So I do not don't want to jump that shark too soon.
No, not yet. But Chavo does hit a suicide dive at one point. Back in the ring, Paul London back body drop off the top rope. Oh my god, yeah, these are freaking nasty bumps these guys are taking. But
Paul London did not have to go this hard during this match, but they did it for us.
They did. Paul London nails Chavo with a 450 splash. Thankfully, a lot safer than his former tag team partner would hit a shooting star press. But he pins Chavo. They work. It's an 11-minute match. They got a lot in for 11 minutes. I'm going 3.5. This is a really, really good match.
I'm going 3 3/4. I love it.
Wow.
This is a fantastic match. And again, it's a shame London had a ceiling. And it's also a shame he got fired for a stupid reason. It's going to be a couple years until that, but it's a shame because London's still doing his thing on the indies and he's doing it well. Yeah. Spoilers without context.
Smile like a fucking doof, but anyhow, we won't get to that we won't get to that yet. I don't want to depress myself.
For London to talk about before we get to that.
I don't want to depress myself because my god, the next match will certainly depress me. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't like uncomfortable storylines that involve like subjects of like rape, sexual harassment, anything of the sort, I would recommend skipping maybe 10-15 minutes ahead of this podcast and go to the next match after this. But
almost done talking about these fucking storylines.
Almost done. But this is so out of fucking left field, guys. So the match in question is Kurt Angle going one-on-one with Booker T. How did we get here? On paper, Kurt Angle and Booker T sounds like a banger. But Kurt Angle just coming off of his match of the year with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. He is in a fatal four-way elimination match for WWE Championship match on this show. He costs Booker T his slot because Booker T was also in that match. He nails Booker with a chair, allows Booker to get eliminated. It's down to Angle and JBL. Booker T gives Kurt Angle his payback. He nails Kurt with the chair, even though Booker T illegally did so. He was eliminated. Like, he's a sore loser in this case. So, in storyline context, which is even more stupid, Booker T started this. The babyface started this. So
you would think Booker, that would be enough to warrant a pay-per-view match.
Yep. Yep.
You cost me a shot at the WWE Championship. I cost you a shot at the WWE Championship. Now we hate each other. Let's go out there and kick each other's asses.
Bingo.
It reminds me of Judgment Day 2007, where literally Shawn Michaels goes out to Randy Orton and says, I don't have a match. You don't have a match. Want to wrestle?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Yeah, these two could go in there and have a classic, with no given storylines, anything like that.
But Vince had to go and make it fucking weird.
This is that example. This is one of those monkey wrench examples we were talking about at the beginning. So it was common knowledge that Booker T was newly married to former Nitro girl Sharmell. So Vince decides that he wants to bring Sharmell onto television. I guess because he wanted to find a way to pay both of them since they were just married. I guess that's good. That's nice of a boss to do, to bring, the wife in, I guess, and, pay both of them. But this fucking storyline, this is not the way to fucking do it. So Kurt Angle, God.
He's enamored by Sharmell. Very enamored.
I struggle to say some of the stuff that Kurt Angle actually said on the air to Sharmell.
Angle, all of a sudden, for some fucking reason, has it out for Sharmell, and hell, man, if you want to censor this part, even go right ahead, because this is it's a very vulgar term. As a kid, of course, I don't fucking know what this means.
I don't know what it means Sharmell either.
A gutter slut, and that is like his favorite phrase in the world now.
It is.
You know damn well it's a phrase that Vince thought of and said, like, Angle, Kurt, say it as many times as possible. Say slut many times as possible.
Kurt Angle, poor man, being a WWE loyalist, cutting these promos like a man who's lost all of his dignity after wrestling a match of the decade against Shawn Michaels, is relegated to this garbage.
So Angle and Booker have a match because Booker is pissed off, as he should be, that Angle is using these very offensive terms for Sharmell, and Angle let his intrusive thoughts win because he hits Booker with an Angle slam, and he uses that as an opportunity to go pay Sharmell a little visit. And during a promo, he says, "Try and mess with her." Just straight fucking up. Doesn't beat around the bush. Booker, I want to have sex with your wife.
So
not any kind of
no.
Sex. That bestiality kind of sex. Please answer me this.
With your wife.
What the fuck does that even mean?
What the
fuck does that even mean?
He wants to. It doesn't mean that he likes to fuck animals. It just means he wants to fuck her like an animal.
Remember that song? I don't remember who sang it, but they say, "Let's get it on," like they do on the Discovery Channel. That's the closest thing I can think about when it comes to this. Who fucking thinks of that line?
Vince McMahon. And this lady,
I have in my head for the past 18 years.
It has been a meme to no end, unfortunately. Kurt Angle, again, delivered that line like a man who's lost all of his dignity. And a point that I dare not forget, this is a man who is preaching abstinence during the entirety of the Attitude Era. This is what happens. This is what happens. This is what happens when you say during the Attitude Era in a shopping mall, the best sex is no sex. It's true. It's true. And then fast forward 5 years.
Ordered to apologize to Booker and Sharmell on the Go Home SmackDown to Judgment Day. And he says he does his best impression of Angle was ahead of his time because he was doing phony ass apologies before any YouTuber could ever do so. And he basically says, "I'm sorry that your wife is a gutter slut." Like,
I'm sorry. she started it, Booker. So
and he says, "You gotta understand, Booker. She tried to molest me." I'm like,
fuck you, Vince McMahon. Why would you make a national treasure like Kurt Angle go through this? Why would you do this?
Kurt Angle was asked about this by his co-host on his podcast, which is an excellent podcast, by the way.
It is.
Love listening to that on my drive to work. But he was asked about this storyline, and he said, yes, it was Vince's idea. No, he didn't want to go through with it. And the craziest part is, him and Booker never talked about it. They did their business. They never once sat in a room and said, like, "Hey, man, what is this?" I feel like Booker obviously wasn't happy, But him
Mm-hmm.
being the working man that he is was probably just like, let's get this shit over with.
And Booker T marches down that aisle and he pounds into Kurt Angle like nobody else has. This
Not
match was
before
oh
Angle
god, I forgot about this
breaks
part.
into Booker's dressing room while Booker is looking for him. And oh my god, I feel disgusting even saying this. Holds
Charmel
Carmel down, puts his hand over her mouth, and says, "When I'm done after a match, I'm gonna dominate you."
Charmel is saved by Kurt Angle's music, which I guess is his cue to start walking to the ring. And he's like, "That's my music. I'll see you later." And I'm like, God damn it,
get
dude.
some of Michael Cole's excellent, passionate commentary during his entrance, though. I will give that a positive.
Yes.
He's scolding Taz. Because, Taz being not a heel, but the heel sympathizer, he's struggling to find, reasons to, back up Angle. He's just saying, oh, yeah, Kurt's a weird one for sure. But Cole is, scolding Taz so much. Stop making excuses for him. He's a disgusting pervert and all this stuff. But it's funny because Taz is like, why are you getting mad at me? I didn't do anything.
I didn't do anything. I'm just being fed these lines, Cole. Banana juice. Yeah, bags. Cole.
But by this match, Taz goes, yeah, I can't think of anything. This Kurt Angle's disgusting.
Kurt Angle is disgusting, and that is important that Taz said that. Stay tuned for our ECW One Night Stand review for more information on that. So, Kurt Angle waltzes down to the ring, and he is, he's gloating. Booker T is passionate. He marches down the aisle, doesn't even let his he doesn't even do his full entrance. He's no nonsense, marches down the aisle, and then proceeds to start punching Kurt Angle square in the mouth. And Kurt Angle is bleeding from the lips, at least a minute in. And I feel like or bleeding from the gums, rather.
Believable.
Yeah, no, this was fucking physical. I feel like this is the match, Tomas. I could be wrong about this, but I feel like Kurt Angle bleeding so early in this match is what actually required him to wear a mouthpiece for the rest of his career. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but
Booker was probably very fueled considering he had to go and work this storyline. But dare I say, this is the best storytelling I've ever seen out of Booker T.
Yeah. I mean, again, I feel like Booker T has always been a better babyface, and it's always more believable to root for Booker T as the babyface. He goes in there. These two guys, I mean, given the shitty storyline, like I said, these are two pros. These guys can go in there and have a banger, and they did a hell of a job with what they had. I think these two had a really solid match, all things considered.
They did. They had good psychology. They had good chemistry. They had good storytelling. These are two phenomenal athletes, two of my favorite wrestlers of all time. They did wrestle a very good match.
Yeah, Booker T with a scissors kick that sends Angle all the way out to the floor. This crowd is, again, rabid. They are so behind Booker T in this match. Kurt Angle.
Psychology. Booker is so heated by this that he is targeting Angle's surgically repaired neck.
He is. He's targeting the heel surgically repaired neck. This match is freaking physical. They're just brawling all around the ringside area. Standing sidekick. Booker T is doing all of his big hits. But it's weird because turns out he steals the rock bottom and he hits it on Kurt Angle. And, it's weird because The Rock is shooting Be Cool around this point. Booker T has no reason to call out The Rock or fire shots at The Rock, but he hits the rock bottom. That's a close 2 count anyway.
The Rock was off filming a shitty movie.
I'm ignoring you, but yeah, really nice near falls. Booker T with the spinneroonie, of course, scissors kick.
Yeah, he has time to do a spinneroonie during this match. And you know what? I'm sorry. This is really bothering me. Are you saying Be Cool is not a shitty movie?
Oh, it totally is. It totally is.
Awful. I remember when I was a kid, when The Rock went off to do his thing, me and my dad made it a point. We're going to try and watch as many of The Rock's films as possible. You know what? I liked Scorpion King. You know what? I liked Walking Tall. You know what? I liked Gridiron King. Then we got
The Rundown. The Rundown.
Yeah. You know what? We got to Be Cool. We finished the movie. Me and my dad looked at each other and we were like, that sucked.
Yeah.
And I was disappointed. But you know what? It wouldn't be the first. It would not be the last time Rock would be in a shitty film. Because I'm sorry, I feel like 75% of his movies are shit.
The Game Plan, The Tooth Fairy, and Planet 51.
Black Adam.
I liked Black Adam.
You did?
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah. I liked it more than Shazam 2. Skyscraper. That's a shitty movie, but it's a fun movie. But yeah,
you know, we could dedicate a whole podcast to The Rock's shitty movies. Anywho, back to this. I feel like we need to distract ourselves from talking about this shitty movie.
Yeah, no, totally, we do. Yeah, but it's all because Booker T hit the Rock bottom, you know, and he's firing shots at the Rock. But I know what I said. Kurt Angle is starting to hit the German suplexes. Booker T with a nice counter out of the Angle slam into a small package pinning predicament. It's okay. This is honestly where I have problems with it. Booker T rolls up Kurt Angle. Booker T gets 3, but I feel like, all due respect to Kurt Angle, he doesn't. Kurt Angle kicks out, and the referee counts 3 anyway. Like, I don't know if it's because Kurt Angle has not mastered the art of kicking out at 2.99999. And this is coming from someone who loves Kurt Angle. But a lot of his matches that we've watched, he's like missed a lot of the big near falls. You know, it's okay. I'm not saying it's on him, but
this is something I just need to speak out about.
Go ahead.
We are going to sit here and we are going to bastardize. We are going to lynch Rick Knox over the mistake he made during the international title match between Rey Fenix and Jon Moxley. When literally stuff like this happens in the WWE all the fucking time. You know what? Yes, the mistake Knox made was pretty bad, but he's not the first referee to do this. There have been so many times where something like this would happen, where there'd be a kick out and still go to 3. You know how easy it is for the ref to say, you know what? I made a mistake. Wave that off. The match is continuing. It's not that hard. Sometimes, a lot of the times in pro wrestling, you need to call shit on the fly. And that was a moment where they should have called something on the fly instead of insulting our intelligence. I get that was the plan finish. You know what? Sometimes the finish does not go to plan. Sometimes when you're in the middle of a show, someone doesn't make their entrance, or they forget a prop, or somebody trips. You got to learn how to improvise. And that was an instance in this match where they should have improvised, wave off the count. They wrestle for 30 more seconds, and you either go with the new finish or you redo the planned finish, I guess, because Vince is just such a fucking tight ass about his finishes.
Yeah, and it's not like he couldn't have restarted the match, because Judgment Day 2005 was only 2.5 hours long, which is perfectly manageable for a pay-per-view, but with Vince's 2 hours and 45 minutes that he wanted to stick to back then, like, you could have very easily given these guys another 10 minutes to resolve this finish and improvise, but
yeah, I get 30 seconds. Wave it off. They, Angle goes for an angle slam. Booker tries to counter into another bookend. He reverses it, and they do the small package again. It's not that hard. Other issue I have with this. We are talking about a feud where a man is threatening to sexually abuse another man's wife. That is extremely personal, and your finish is a fucking roll-up.
Yeah. You know what? You know how I would have booked it? I would have actually put the aftermath before the bell rang. I would have given Charles Robinson a ref bump, and Sharmell could have come out. She could have, she could have been tormented by Angle for a little bit. Booker T is the valiant babyface that comes to her rescue. They do the handcuff gimmick. Kurt Angle is stuck to the ropes. Sharmell kicks him in the balls, and then Booker T.
You know what? I know we already had a DQ finish on this show. This could have warranted a no contest.
It could have. That's fine. But again, with the DQ finish that we had later, I understand why this match didn't necessarily go to a non-finish, but I mean, at least the right person went over in Booker T, because he and Sharmell were tormented by this fucker so much throughout this storyline. So
Booker gets the very deflated victory, and Angle, and you could say, oh, they want to do a roll because Angle was going to attack Booker. Who's to say he hits him with a scissors kick, he gets the pin, and then like a minute later, Angle comes to and still attacks Booker, because that's what happens. Sharmell comes to the ring to celebrate. Yeah, good job, honey. You rolled that man. That man that, was threatening me earlier, you rolled him up. Good job. I feel
but
validated now.
In any case, go ahead.
By Angle. And this is where it gets super fucking uncomfortable, because he grabs Sharmell by the wrist and he's going to handcuff her to the top rope. Why is nobody coming out here to save this? I know Charles Robinson tries to stop Angle and he gets chased out of the ring.
I
want to bring this point up.
Can I stop you? Can I stop you real quick? Because you have about 12,000 spectators watching this pay-per-view live in the arena. If people see like sexual harassment like this going down, why does nobody think to call the police? Like,
you know, wrestling show, but I'm just talking more people in the back. There's so many wrestlers back there. You're telling me not one of them thinks. And Taz, I want to bring Taz up because I have a fucking bone to pick with him. Taz is sitting here saying, "Yeah, that's messed up. Why does nobody do anything about it? Why couldn't he do something about it?" Because let me tell you, I want to say a year later. So you mean to tell me Taz isn't going to help probably one of his oldest friends in the business, in Booker T, and his wife, but a year fucking later, Mike Knox is harassing Kelly, and Taz is on commentary and says, "You know what? I can't take this anymore." And he storms the ring and chases Knox out.
It's a 19-year-old girl, man. But I don't know. I don't know what Taz's morals are in character.
Nobody is saving Sharmell. But Booker finally comes to. He attacks Angle. And you know what? Yes, the beatdown was very satisfying because Booker did handcuff Angle to the rope and he starts going to town on him. I would have wanted a little more because he just slaps him a few times. And then I will say Sharmell lays in a good fucking couple slaps to Angle, but then she just starts doing that. And I hated that.
Yeah.
And you know, if I was Kurt, I know they didn't talk about it, but I would have pulled Sharmell, you know, to the side and said, like, you know what? Just to make this as believable and possible, you fucking hit me as hard as you can. Like, make it look real.
Well, she did kick him in the balls to end it. So, I mean, that's the only way that storyline could have ended was Kurt Angle getting kicked in the nuts and then him getting escorted out. The only thing missing from this aftermath was the "You deserve it" chant from the crowd, which, I mean, again, those would not come into the fold until about 9 years later, but the "You deserve it" chants for Kurt Angle getting kicked in the nuts here would have been like a pitch perfect cherry on top, I think.
You know, you say it was a satisfying payoff, but it was just as satisfying as drinking a flat can of soda on a hot summer day. Sure, you got it, but was there really anything there? Yeah,
because Kurt Angle lost via roll-up. And better yet, Kurt Angle is defecting over to Raw by the draft. So why not put Booker T over? Because he's staying on SmackDown. He's not going anywhere. So
it was there. It was good for what it was. It's just like this whole thing. It was just. I'll give the match 3.25 stars just because the whole thing was just a fucking mess.
Yeah,
a decent match with the whole fucking wow.
Yeah, best
just wow.
Best I can do given the circumstances and the crappy storyline that they were given. Kurt Angle and Booker T are pros. They handled it. They did a hell of a job. I'm going to give it 3.25 as well. So
this isn't the end though, because after this pay-per-view, I think like a week later on SmackDown, Teddy Long holds a battle royal, a very special battle royal, in which the winner can have any match he wants against any opponent. Kurt Angle wins that battle royal, gets on the mic and says, "I know what you're all thinking. I'm going to challenge for the WWE Championship. No, I'm not. I want a match with Sharmell."
Gives up a shot at the richest prize in the business to go after Sharmell.
And Teddy Long, this angle. Realizing Teddy Long, who finally fucking steps in and says, "No, that's not fair. I'm going to make it a handicap match. Booker and Sharmell versus Angle." The only thing I remember of that match is that there is one point where Kurt gets a hold of Sharmell and he puts her in a powerbomb position just so he can rub his nuts on the back of her neck.
God. Fuck this feud. Let's move on. I
assume Booker and Sharmell win that match too. I don't remember.
I would assume they did because, again, Kurt Angle's going to Raw in the draft, so it makes no sense for him to win if he's leaving. So,
yeah,
that's just me.
And, oh, my God. Holy hell.
Thank God that feud is over, but believe it or not, it's time for the cool down. It's time for the cool down.
Orlando Jordan, who is still the United States champion, is defending his championship against Heidenreich.
Heidenreich.
So Heidenreich came out on an episode of SmackDown, still being the creepy fuck that he is. And the Brooklyn Brawler, everyone's favorite jobber, is there. And I think SmackDown was in Brooklyn when this happened. And for some reason, Brawler decides to turn heel. I remember this promo because he tells the crowd, I hate this place so much. I hate Brooklyn so much that I'm changing my name to the Boston Brawler.
I remember that now. That was against Heidenreich?
Heidenreich was in the ring, and Heidenreich
Oh, boy.
He beat up Boston Brawler, and he basically, that's how he got his gimmick, because he said, all of these people are my friends. So he beat up Brawler, and yeah, he turned, oh my God, I had no idea who that was as a kid, because, and then knowing now that Brooklyn Brawler was just a jobber from the 90s and the 80s, it's just,
Yeah.
why would you randomly bring him back in 05, and who fucking cares about Brawler?
Who fucking cares about Heidenreich? Apparently a bunch of these people. All these people. Heidenreich's gimmick now. Heidenreich's gimmick. Go ahead. Yeah. All right. Fair enough. So Orlando Jordan, by the way, United States champion, and Tomas basically described him as just being there. He's just there. He's holding the title. You know, he's not really doing anything. He's JBL's sidekick. But Heidenreich,
6 months.
Heidenreich has his banger of a theme song still. And he now has a march that he does to the theme song, and it's like...
What a very embarrassing story.
It's so fucking funny!
Because as a kid, I'm 11, I'm going to like whoever's a babyface. So I like Heidenreich.
Oh, no.
So at school, I would go around the playground.
No!
Doing it.
No, you didn't!
Thankfully, it was my cousin who called me out on it.
Oh.
He says, Tomas, why the fuck are you walking around like you're Popeye the Sailor Man? And I'm like...
It's Heidenreich.
Yep. You know, when she said that, I was like, it does look Popeye.
Yeah. So Heidenreich is the challenger in this match, as Tomas keeps looking like Popeye the Sailor Man. He is going to basically challenge for the title, but first, I gotta find me a new friend! And the crowd now pops like all over the arena. Like Heidenreich, this is a gimmick that's ahead of its time, because imagine if this Heidenreich had a Twitter. Like, imagine all the fucking followers that he would have been getting. And like, anybody want to be my friend? I'm right here.
Haas and Michael Cole actually have some very fun banter before this match, because Michael Cole says, could you imagine Heidenreich as the United States champion? Do you think he would take the championship everywhere he goes? Like, you think he would take it to the park to feed the ducks? And Taz said, hey, when I was ECW champion, I took that title everywhere. I took it to the supermarket. I took it with me when I went on a walk. That title went everywhere with me. And when I heard that as a kid, I literally it just came in my mind. I just thought of wrestlers at the grocery store with their championships.
Yeah. That's a thought.
Roman Reigns, like on a Costco run with the Universal title.
God, could you imagine Gunther at Trader Joe's with the Intercontinental title?
Could you imagine Rey Mysterio at Target with the United States title? Could you imagine Seth Rollins at Walmart?
Could you imagine Ilya Dragunov at a Brazilian steakhouse with the NXT title?
Could you imagine Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Dominic Mysterio at Hot Topic with the tag?
Anyhow, could you imagine Heidenreich? Fuck, man. Could you imagine
Heidenreich at McDonald's with the United States title in the big playpen?
In the big playpen, looking for friends.
So Heidenreich. So what he does is he has his poems that are disaster pieces, and now they're fun, lighthearted poems that he writes about his opponents. He plucks a girl from the front row, which I'm convinced was a plant.
Okay, here's my thing though, because that little girl, I saw her during the main event also, right back in her seat after this match, and she was the highlight of the match for me, because this camera would cut back to this little girl, and she was cheering for Heidenreich. She absolutely was. You know, she was his biggest cheerleader, and she was booing Orlando Jordan. Orlando Jordan, give him credit, though, because he was getting into arguments with this 10-year-old girl. And it was like, honestly, it was kind of funny. It was kind of funny watching Orlando Jordan interact with her. But
barely a 5-minute match, so there wasn't really much here.
Barely, but Heidenreich reads this little girl his disaster piece. She gets to keep the disaster piece. I mean, if you're in 4th grade, it's not bad. But
I mean, John Cena has been real quiet ever since Heidenreich dropped that disaster piece.
Yeah. No, fuck John Cena's new album that he just put out. You know, he's very quiet. Heidenreich's got the disaster pieces.
Allow me to quote a part from Heidenreich's disaster piece. Orlando Jordan, he said he looks crazy from head to feet. One look at his hair, I like to call him whole wheat. And Jordan gets offended by that.
Heidenreich makes a brief comeback. This is a 5-minute match. Orlando Jordan hits him with a DDT and he pins him. And this little girl is the highlight of the match, and she's like, boo, boo, like Johnny Knoxville at WrestleMania in our section, right?
He gets, Heidenreich back into it, and I mean, yeah, I don't know what to say about Heidenreich. Like, I liked him as a kid, but then again, I liked everyone as a kid. I remember at school, I would have my name tag that we were allowed to personalize, and I would just write every single name of every wrestler that I liked from WWE and TNA, and it was just all the baby faces. And when someone turned heel, I just erased their name.
Yeah.
So,
well,
I liked anyone who was a baby face.
Orlando Jordan tried to get a good match out of this guy, but it's not like Orlando Jordan's a ring general. Like, it's I'm giving this no stars. I'm giving it no stars. The Heidenreich's matches, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I don't think wrestling was this man's profession. Like, if he wanted
he had a cool swinging side slam, but that's it.
Yeah, like if he wanted to go and be a poet, if he wanted to go be a children's book poet, then he could definitely do that. He could probably sell those disaster pieces in a book and publish them. But
I say he has a good swinging side slam, but it's no black hole slam.
No. And TNA was just coming up the pipeline, and Abyss was just starting to become popular. So
yeah, and you know what? I might give a half a star because the half a star is just for the sake that I didn't realize that Heidenreich was a little over with the crowd.
He was, yeah. As soon as he said, I need a new friend, the crowd pops huge. And it's not because they want to be Heidenreich's friend. Oh, no. It's because they can actually cross that guardrail legally. Heidenreich, and give him credit because I'm sure that little girl's night was made. And I'm sure that this is a memory that she would never forget. I wonder what she's up to now.
I wonder what that doesn't even fucking remember this by now.
I don't know. It's not like she's angry.
She's still a wrestling fan.
I wonder. Yeah,
track down the Heidenreich girl, please. If we can track down Angry Miz girl, we can track down Heidenreich girl.
Yeah,
just like we can track down Surprised Undertaker guy.
Oh yeah, no, Surprised Undertaker guy has a Twitter, so it's
just like you can track down Brock Lesnar.
Just like you can track down that guy in green.
In green shirt. There's the Brazilian flag shirt.
Wait, what? Just like we could track down the guy who's been to like every WrestleMania with the blazer.
Remember Cavs jersey?
No, I don't remember.
Cavaliers jersey. Why do these?
Why do all these fans have gimmicks? Like you wanna
love how they'll take one little thing from just by their shirt and that becomes their identity. I like how Brock Lesnar guy got his name just because the camera cut to him with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah! Fuck, by that logic, hold on. By that logic, I mean, wrestling fans should not have gimmicks at all. Logan Paul should not have a gimmick right now. But, by that logic, Tomas would be Bloodline guy, and I would be John Cena guy. By that logic, do not give wrestling fans gimmicks, because we're people. This podcast has gone off the rails, hasn't it? Tomas is broken. Tomas is broken over there. But yeah,
I know what happened, Brock Lesnar guy. He's all elite.
Oh no! You didn't just say that. Heidenreich girl is all elite. Could you imagine? I mean, if she's anyhow, Heidenreich sucks. I'm just gonna let Tomas breathe there, and I'm gonna go ahead and go into the next segment real quick. But yeah, Heidenreich again. Wrestling was not his profession, and the only reason why this match wasn't negative stars is because the little girl was so entertaining. So anyway, it tells you a lot about this match. But up next, okay, let's simmer down a little bit and let's get serious here. And this is a rematch from WrestleMania, Tomas. Are you ready for this?
Yes, yes,
Eddie,
I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio. Anytime you put these two in a match, again, you can tell that it's going to be a freaking banger. But this time, there is no friendly rivalry here. This is nothing but personal. How do we get here,
Let's
Tomas? How do we get
let's
here?
go back to, like I said, after WrestleMania, Eddie and Ray were having some differences. They were on Carlito's Cabana, kind of having a little friendship counseling session. And like I said, out of nowhere, the red carpet rolls out. They are confronted by Eminem. They want to challenge Eddie and Ray for the tag team titles. There's a little miscommunication during that title match, and that costs Eddie and Ray the titles. The very next week, Ray is on Carlito's Cabana talking about the tag team title loss. Also, really early in the tag team title reign, Chavo was trying to get into Eddie's ear, saying, he's what Ray is doing is he's keeping his friends close and his enemies closer. But Eddie is saying, no, no, me and Ray are familia. He's like my brother. Like, stop trying to start something between me and Ray. On this Carlito's Cabana, Eminem come out again and they attack Ray, and Eddie is nowhere to be found.
Yep.
You think his tag team partner would be there to save him. The next week, Ray confronts Eddie and says, "What the hell? Like, what's going on here?" And Eddie says, "I promise you, I was having car trouble. I would have your back." They, reconcile. They're ready to go. They want to win back their tag team titles. They wrestle Eminem. Ray's taking the heat. He goes for the tag, and Eddie just stands there. He refuses to tag Ray, stares a hole through Ray's heart.
He
And
is.
Eminem, very confused, they take advantage of Ray. They retain their titles, and Eddie just watches. And I loved how they built this up every week. Like it wasn't an instantaneous heel turn, but you knew it was coming. Very next week on SmackDown. And this was so great about having 8 weeks in between pay-per-views for each brand. It gave you time. Every single week something was happening different, as opposed to the monthly pay-per-views. You have to get everything in one night. You got everything in on 2 episodes. I liked how this was able to breathe and grow the way it
Yes.
did. And Ray confronts Eddie the next week and says, "You know what? I'm tired of this." And Eddie's not talking. And Ray says, "If you won't talk, maybe you'll fight." And he slaps him right in the face. And I
Uh,
remember, and then later on that night, Ray has a match with Chavo because they're getting heated. I think it's Eminem and Chavo who attack Ray after the match. Eddie comes in for the save. He clears the ring. He picks Ray up, and I remember this as clear as day as a
oh,
kid. He takes Ray's head off with the clothesline.
God, this
He
broke my fucking heart. And then what happens is this has been so well built up. To your point, this is long-term storytelling. 8 weeks between WrestleMania and this pay-per-view to properly tell this story. Eddie Guerrero chops Ray's head clean off his shoulders with that lariat, and then he takes Ray to the outside with the base of the steel steps, hits Ray with a sick-looking brain buster. Ray is
not
bleeding.
before ramming him headfirst into the steel post, blooding him up, and tearing his mask open.
Yep.
Like
Mm-hmm.
you said, delivers. They called it a suplex. No, that was a brain buster.
That was absolutely a brain buster.
On the
Ray
steel steps.
and Eddie Guerrero comes out the next week. He cuts this ice cold promo with, a glazed look in his eyes, not quite all there. And he says, "Why, Eddie, why?" And then he tears into Rey Mysterio. He holds up the mask. He says, "We were family. You made me do this." After looking at this promo, when you told me this little factoid, I agree with you. Other than the addiction promo that he had against Brock Lesnar in the build up to the WWE title win, this was Eddie Guerrero's best promo ever. Like, it was,
Yeah,
God, he was a
I caught both
masterful
points. Like you said,
storyteller.
the why Eddie why, the staring into the mask, which sends chills down my spine, is when he says, "You make me do this, Ray. Why'd you make me do this?" I'm like, oh, it tears your heart out. And he says, and what set shivers down my spine watching this is when he said, "Think about your kids. Think about Aaliyah and Dominic." And just to see little baby Dominic there,
Oh,
like,
God, I
holy
laughed my ass off. I laughed my ass off seeing that picture. And I'm like, just knowing where Dom is now. Eddie Guerrero.
don't make me take them away from me. Don't make me take away their papa. I'm like, oh my God. And what's even better is the following week on SmackDown. he has a match against a jobber, and he puts the mask. First, he puts the mask on the turnbuckle to, represent Ray, but then he puts the mask on his opponent, and he gives him a brain buster in the ring, and it's like, oh, I fucking love the storytelling. And then again, the end of that promo, you say you're returning at Judgment Day. I highly advise it, because if you show up to Judgment Day, I'll take your life. Oh
yeah.
my God, Eddie was.
I won't.
Promo.
It won't just be your career; it'll be your life, Holmes.
Ooh.
Like Eddie, I miss Eddie Guerrero so fucking much, and seeing how good he was at storytelling and the professional wrestling thing, like this whole build and this match just shows you how fucking great Eddie was. And this was such a refreshing change of pace after he had been a babyface for a couple of years. And Rey Mysterio, keeping in mind, he's no slouch either. Rey Mysterio brilliantly just stays home after the brainbuster beating. He does not show up again on TV until this match here.
Eddie comes out to a brand new theme song, which is a banger. It's a more evil, slowed down, more like lowrider, old, like, oldie but goodies. Like, if some of my fellow Hispanics out there, what kind of music I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Totally different and stylized. And I loved how the slight changes in the lyrics too. Like, it's basically Eddie's bass theme, but the verses are swapped. In this bass theme, it would say, I don't care if you don't like me, everybody wants to fight me. In this version, it just says, I don't care if you don't like me, fight me. It's like, I love the theme song, so I've listened to it a few times.
I love it too.
It's a great heel theme.
If I could provide some levity to the situation, anytime I hear that iteration of Eddie's theme song, I always perk up and I check my phone to make sure it's not ringing. Just because it starts off literally with a ringtone, and then can you feel the heat?
But it's crazy that the lyrics are still the same in this song from his Babyface song, but with just a more sinister tone. Like, you look at the verse of he just says something about you don't want me creeping up in your house, like at and in the face thing he was saying all popular, I'm gonna steal something from you, but it's more sinister. If you haven't heard this Eddie theme, listen to it.
I don't care.
What I don't like is that they change it in 3 months. They change it to something totally different, which
they
I like
do.
The other theme too. But this one is just you had lightning in a bottle. I love this theme. It's so underrated.
Coming from the streets of the ghetto at the end of the week, I get to keep your dinero.
It's a lot more sinister in the heel version.
Mm-hmm. It's love it, love it, love it, love it.
Ray comes out. And what is he known for? Popping off from under the stage? Nope. He's not here to play games. He is not here. I often compare Rey Mysterio to Spider-Man. And there are those very rare instances in the comics where he's not here to joke. He's not here to quip. There's an infamous comic where Kingpin, I think he hurts Aunt May, and he looks at Spider-Man and says, I know you're not going to kill me because Spider-Man doesn't kill. And Spider-Man takes off his mask and he's like, you're right, Spider-Man doesn't kill, but Peter Parker does. And it's just one of those rare instances where a very lighthearted character gets so serious. And I feel like that was one of those instances for Rey Mysterio. He's not here to do the 619. He's not here to pop out from under the stage. He's here to fight someone that he used to call his brother.
Yeah. I mean, they were brothers in real life, as it would be revealed by the end of the year, unfortunately. But holy hell. I mean, surprise, surprise. Eddie and Ray get in the ring and they have a fucking kick-ass match is what they have. Except there is so much more physicality than there was in the Mania match. It feels so much more personal. Rey Mysterio is on fire out of the gates. He wants to get at Eddie Guerrero like nobody else. Eddie Guerrero takes control and he picks up the smaller man, which is rare for an Eddie Guerrero match. Picks up the smaller man, bam, plows him back first on the assembled announce table. And it is just, it's nasty. It's a precursor to Kevin Owens' powerbomb on the apron, which, remember, is the hardest part of the ring, mind you.
I love the foreshadowing and the callbacks he did, like Eddie trying to do the brainbuster again on the steel steps, which would have ended Ray's career if he hit it out for a second time.
God, I mean, and even then, even though they were telling the story that this is a blood feud, these guys go in there and their wrestling is impeccable. Their chemistry is untouchable. Rey Mysterio is on fire. Eddie Guerrero, inverted powerbomb and a seamless transition. there was no touching these guys when it came to lucha style.
And
there
of
was
course,
no touching
Eddie
them.
would always have the Ray going for the head scissors just for him to turn it into a nasty backbreaker. I feel like that's a staple of any Eddie and Ray match. You have to have that spot there.
Yes. So it should also be noted, Eddie Guerrero hits a much more sinister version of the Three Amigos triple verticals. Mysterio avoids the third suplex, actually sends Guerrero into the middle rope, setting up for the 619. This is where Chavo Guerrero actually runs interference.
I forgot that he did.
I forgot about it too. Yeah.
I don't think he needed to, though.
No, probably not. But I mean, at the same time, like, this whole story kind of kicked into another gear when Chavo was kind of trying to stir the pot a little bit. And Eddie was basically saying, oh, Ray's my familia. He's my brother. I'm not going to harm him.
Like Chavo is embracing his uncle turning to the dark side.
Yeah. Even though Eddie made that statement, he was saying that right to Chavo's face. And Chavo was his actual brother. You know? Like, technically speaking, his nephew, but they were only like 3 years apart or something like that. Chavo has called Eddie his brother. Yeah. So, yeah. it's just crazy. So Eddie, Eddie's so sinister in his offense here. Rey Mysterio makes his comeback. He gets Eddie into the 619 position, drop kicks Chavo off the apron because Chavo was distracting the referee. Rey Mysterio hits the 619, and then what happens is he goes to the spring, goes for the West Coast pop. It's perfect. Eddie Guerrero winds up a steel chair, blasts Rey Mysterio in midair.
Fucking hits a home run with Rey's face.
Gnarly finisher, and the ref calls for the bell. It's a DQ. And even though usually I would sit here and say, that's bullshit, this is a pay-per-view, this only furthered the narrative. And I was, yeah. And this finish and this aftermath beatdown, this all told the story perfectly. Because Eddie Guerrero hits that perfect chair shot in midair. Like, that collision just like, great snap. And then what happens is Eddie Guerrero takes the steel chair. Rey Mysterio is lying face down, and he wallops Rey Mysterio until the back of the chair is broken.
It's a sinister chair beatdown.
It is. It really, really, really is. Eddie Guerrero walks away unscathed. He doesn't care that he's lost the match, even though the story is Eddie Guerrero is so bothered by the fact that Rey Mysterio always wins. Even though Rey Mysterio has won the wrestling match here, Eddie Guerrero kind of won the story on this night. He walks away. Yeah.
Well, first, I'm going to give this match 4 stars. It was excellent storytelling.
Fuck it, dude. Fuck it. 4.25. 4.25.
Very, oh my God. You talk about storytelling. You take 2 guys that are known for, mask versus hair, known for that great match they had at WrestleMania, and then you turn it into a blood feud. It showed that there's a whole different dimension to Rey Mysterio than just he's, the jumping high fly guy.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's like adding that dimension to Spider-Man. Oh, Spider-Man's just, he's the web head, he's the web slinger, but then you add that more serious, layer to him. That was just like with Rey. Like, he's more than just the high flying guy. He can, he has emotions. He can, be pushed to, again, I love it.
He's the human spider. But Eddie Guerrero walks away unscathed, and needless to say, this feud is not over. And the reason why this match, I assume the same reason why you gave this such a high rating, is because of the great wrestling and the great storytelling. Even though this match had a disqualification ending, I loved it. It's one of the matches of the night, and dare I say, it's one of the best matches in WWE history to end on a DQ. I think it's in the top 3. It's right there. The only other 2 matches I can think of are Shawn Michaels versus Mankind at Mind Games in your house for the title, and Austin versus Angle at SummerSlam 01. This match is right up there with those 2. So
it's a very good match. Very, very, very good match. And it's just the beginning to a pretty damn good story. I can't say it's the best story ever because we're going to get an element introduced of the Great American Bash that's going to it's a little weird.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to say the very least.
I mean, it's not too bad going into Great American Bash because we don't know what the secret is. We don't know what Uncle Eddie's bedtime story is yet. So I do think, we'll get into that when we get into Great American Bash. There's still that element of what the hell is Eddie talking about? But then after Great American Bash, that's where it's just like, wait, what did this turn into?
Yeah. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
But up next, Tomas, it's main event time already. You want to talk about
after that emotional roller coaster? They go straight into this match. It is John Cena defending his newly won WWE Championship against JBL in an I Quit match. This is the first I Quit match in WWE since what, 1999, 2000?
Yep, since Mankind and The Rock at the Royal Rumble 1999. The first I Quit match
as a kid.
Yeah, first I Quit match in this company in 6 years.
Yeah, I remember playing. It was either Know Your Role or it was either SmackDown Just Bring It or SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, where I would pick the I Quit match. I think it was Just Bring It. I would play that match, and I was sitting here thinking, what is an I Quit match? Does the loser quit WWE, or do you win by quitting WWE? But yeah. I would play that match, and I'd be like, how come they don't do this match for real? I've been watching wrestling for like 3 years now, and this is a cool concept for a match. Why don't we see that? And I'll never forget the promo where John Cena declares it's going to be an I Quit match. And I was like, holy shit, we're finally going to see it. And me being the cringy kid that I was, I immediately ran outside. So my brother, who was playing basketball with his friends, and I said, Isaac, John Cena and JBL are going to have an I Quit match. And, him being Mr. Too Cool, he's like, no, can you not talk about this now?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. But
anywho, how did we get here? John Cena wins the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 21, like we have talked about before. And that was just Vince McMahon's cue to not strap the rocket, strap the whole goddamn, the jetpack to this match.
Strap the whole universe to John Cena.
Orbit. Because not only is Cena the new WWE champion, he already filmed a movie that's about to hit theaters. He recorded a rap album. He's throwing the first pitch at baseball games. Mm-hmm. He's on Jimmy Fallon. He's everywhere. Vince McMahon has found his new Hulk Hogan. He has found his new Rock.
He sure
Hogan's
has.
Gone. Rock's gone. Austin's gone. He found his guy. He found his, he
found his bread and butter, essentially.
Yes.
Is anybody really all that surprised with this decision? Because in the land of the Giants, in the land of where Vince McMahon is still in control, he's looking for a muscle-bound, charismatic guy to lead the charge into the next generation. In the land of WWE guys, right at the end of the time when there's a lot of guys who are still using a lot of steroids, a lot of guys still using drugs, and a lot of guys on the pills, John Cena was the perfect choice, thinking about it. Just because John Cena was clean cut, didn't do any of that shit,
Squeaky clean reputation.
Mm-hmm. He was a perfect long-term investment. Even though the thug character kind of started to wear thin because, okay, we know that John Cena didn't really grow up on the streets. We know that John Cena was getting a football scholarship at a private high school. His dad was making money on the independent scene for years and years and years. It's... but this is really where his superstardom really goes into a whole other stratosphere. JBL...
Also, they tweaked the storyline a lot better here. Then they said, 2 men from 2 different lifestyles. I'm like, thank you. That's a lot better way to word it. Don't be sitting here making me think that Cena wasn't a privileged white boy growing up.
Exactly. But JBL, before this match, cuts a fantastic promo where he basically says he's going to make John Cena say, I quit. And he's going to do it in front of a stupid Minneapolis audience. These people will do anything. They'll vote anybody in for governor. Like he had to get a shot in at Jesse Ventura. But
I love the story going into this because JBL wants to invoke his rematch clause, but Teddy Long brought up, no, JBL, you were so confident that you were going to beat John Cena at WrestleMania that you didn't put a rematch clause in your contract. So JBL had to spend the next 2 months in a tournament that almost him and Kurt Angle that decided, hey, if we attack our opponents, then we're gonna go immediately to the finals. But that led to that
might have been
match. So again, I like that.
Might have been.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I like that they spent the whole 2 months building to this instead of just, JBL and Cena are just gonna wrestle again. They made JBL earn it, and that's 8 weeks of television you have out there. Instead of just automatically giving the guy the rematch, do a tournament. I kind of miss these brand exclusive pay-per-views. And I'm
Yeah.
not talking about the ones in 2016 where they did one every 2 weeks. I mean, like, again, give time for it to breathe. We're in a boom period with pro wrestling, and it feels like Triple H is focusing a lot more on building bigger Raws and SmackDowns than bigger pay-per-views. Why doesn't he take an idea like that into consideration?
Why not? Why not? Yeah, just actually invoke the brand split after a big multiple of 10 WrestleMania. Why not? It also should be noted during this whole build, John Cena had that Spinner US title, right? You remember that? Well, he's won another title. It's got to get the turntable treatment. And he debuts the ugliest WWE championship I think you'll ever see in your life. This spinner belt, I mean, I thought it was cool when I was a kid, and the fact that it's brand spanking new, it's all blinged out, and it actually does look pretty good on this pay-per-view feed. But my God, in hindsight, they would go with this fucking design for 8 years. 8 fucking years of this.
Definition of dated.
Yeah.
This design was introduced in 2005, and it would stick around till 2013. And when guys like Randy Orton and Triple H and CM Punk started holding this title, that's when it started clicking with me. Why the fuck is this title still the way it is? I feel like after a couple of years, they fixated the title so it would not spin anymore. And then they undid it just for Rock to make the point. And the WWE title should never spin.
Yeah, exactly.
And let me tell you, I remember exactly where I was. This is what we're starting to get into with these podcasts, and me knowing exactly where I was when certain moments happened. And I know exactly where I was when John Cena revealed that new WWE Championship.
Here we go.
Let me tell you how much of an introverted nerd I was back in elementary school. I skipped out on a school carnival because I wanted to watch the debut of John Cena's Bad Bad Man music video.
Which is a banger of a song, still.
It is. I love it. And I remember
I fucking love that song.
Cell phone, and my mom was working the event because my brother was still there. And she called me and he said, "Your friends are telling you to get your butt over here. So why don't you hop on your bike and come over here?" I'm like, "Okay, fine." I saw the music video.
Yeah. So
I don't want to social. I want to watch wrestling.
Bad Bad Man is great. And let me tell you something else. Like, this is the introverted nerd in me as well. As a youngster, I still have a bunch of my wrestling figures in my garage. And I would very often book like federations, and I would book my own matches, and I would book my own shows. Anytime, John Cena would turn heel in my timelines, I would actually have him enter the Bad Bad Man. Because it's like, literally, it's the clue is in the name, guys. If he's a heel, he's got to be a bad man, like, and it's and like the whistling in the beat there too is just like, I love it.
I begged my mom day one. I knew when that album was going to drop. She drove me to the mall and we went to the music store. I knew exactly where it was going to be. And I picked up that album day one, but it had to be the clean version because, I wasn't allowed to listen to swear words. That was the thing with music. I could play whatever video game I wanted. I could watch all this stuff on pro wrestling, but I wasn't allowed to listen to music with bad words. I wasn't allowed. It was very inconsistent. That's beside the point.
Well,
I would pop that CD into my little CD player and put my little headphones on, and that was the only fucking thing I listened to.
I mean, track number two is "Don't Fuck With That" either. So I mean, I get it.
But I think my mom saw that. It's like, well, you're getting the clean version. I'm like,
yep.
You are damn fucking right. That album is on my Spotify playlist. You are damn. Don't you even question it for a second.
John Cena's a great rapper, man. I mean, JBL says he's going to take his rap career, he's going to take his movie career, which is hilarious thinking about it now. And he's going to end it all at Judgment Day. So here's my first nitpick with this. The fucking entrances. JBL enters the ring first. And it also should be noted, he has his normal ass entrance. Normal schmo. Comes out there like he has like over the past year. With the traditional undisputed title belt, which he carries around.
Tell you why real quick. When Cena revealed the new championship, JBL said that he went into Cena's dressing room and said how irresponsible a champion you are to leave, this prized position out in the open air dressing room. So I'm taking it back because I'm going to win it back at Judgment Day. There was a big box on the ramp, and he goes, and I'm going to destroy whatever title you have. He opens the box to get slimed in the face, and Cena turns around to review the new WWE Championship. And I like how JBL stole the old title. And Michael Cole makes a really good point on commentary saying JBL has the old championship. He's not the new champion, but you know damn well if he wins this match, he's going to change the title right back. Just like he did the United States title.
He absolutely is. And he says that he carries it around for his fans because, you know, for his fans or his political party in this case. Because, yeah, it's his ideology. He's a conservative, you know, non-forward thinking character, you know. But JBL makes his entrance. It's normal. John Cena's music hits. The time is now. And you hear, like, a DJ, like, you know, beatboxing thing in the background and a remix and whatever. And there's a big-ass fucking DJ truck. It's a semi. John Cena's on the back of it. You have this pyro coming up with his brand spanking new T-shirt. And he's asking the DJ to spin the records. It's great. But when you're looking at the comparison between his entrance and JBL's entrance, why even fucking bother having the match? You could just have Cena make his entrance and then be like, yeah, you're probably winning. Why not just go ahead and drive on back, take your title and your pyro, and then go on tour with your new CD? Yeah, this is seeing you off. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something. Then we wouldn't have got this banger of a match. And that DJ truck,
you're right.
It's gonna play. It's gonna factor into this match. Also,
you're right.
I don't want to jump ahead too much, but do you remember when John Cena and Chris Jericho had a battle with the bands on Raw? And
I do remember that. I do remember
Cena
that.
Did Bad Man live. And how fucking cool it was.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Those were the days, man, of 2005. But John Cena and JBL go in there. Just point blank, this is a much better match than their WrestleMania 21 match. This is my favorite match on this show. And honestly, it might be one of, if not my favorite I Quit match in WWE history. It is my favorite match of JBL's career. It's one of my favorite matches of John Cena's career. Like, this match told such an amazing story, and it wasn't in the sense where these guys had to necessarily try super hard, because John Cena again wasn't like the refined wrestler that he is now, but then again he didn't really have to do a whole lot. JBL went in there.
I was watching this match and here I am thinking, why did it take 5, 6, 7 years to make people realize that Cena was legit when he proved it to me on this show? Because he wore the crimson mask on this show.
He
did not pull any punches against each other. They were stiff as fuck with each other. They really laid it in thick. And you know what? We talk about Cena and his success. We got to give JBL some credit.
Oh, yeah.
Like we always say, every Captain America needs their Red Skull. Every Batman needs their Joker. Every Spider-Man needs their Green Goblin. That was JBL to Cena. And JBL really elevated Cena to the stratosphere.
I don't know.
You know what? You have to remember who Cena defeated for his first WWE Championship. And that was JBL.
Of course.
Regardless of the quality of the match. JBL was a big part of that.
Yeah. This match was unfucking real. These guys are brawling everywhere. I mean, again, this is what I love about the I Quit match. JBL is talking so much shit on the microphone to John Cena. He's taking it away from Nick Patrick constantly, and he's like, quit. I'm a wrestling god. Quit.
Let me tell you already what my favorite spot was. Well, my second favorite spot. JBL goes to Longhorn Powerbomb John Cena to the announce table. And while he's in powerbomb position, he tells the ref to ask Cena, do you quit? And Cena says, kiss my ass.
And it's a fucking stiff landing, too. Like, JBL, like, the table breaks and the upper part of his back lands on the edge of the table as it breaks. And you can see JBL, like, you know, cursing up a storm as he lands. That was not a comfortable landing at all.
I love the story JBL was telling in this match. Like, he was hell-bent on making Cena quit by choking him out.
Oh, yeah.
He wrapped a wire around Cena's neck like 3 or 4 times in this match.
You know what was funny is JBL steals a belt from ring announcer Tony Chimmel, starts whipping Cena around with it, and then he uses the ring post to choke John Cena, and Cena's like hawking up a loogie or something like that. It sounds like he's coughing up a lung, and this is what I love about the I Quit match sometimes. The referee thinks that John Cena is actually in a position to utter the words, I quit. Well, it sounds like he's about to vomit, you know?
Like when you're at the dentist and your mouth is, has like 5 different tools in there, and the dentist goes, "So how's work?" Expect me to? You expect me to answer while there's literal saliva dripping out of my mouth?
No, I'm not gonna answer that. I'm not gonna answer your question. Just fix my fucking teeth. But anyway, Cena is getting choked out. But here's the thing: Cena nails JBL after the powerbomb with the ringside monitor at one of the announce tables, posing to the crowd. JBL is recuperating over by ringside. In a direct callback to Judgment Day last year, where he bladed Eddie Guerrero, same exact spot. Same exact position. JBL wallops John Cena in the head with a steel chair. This is where Cena blades like crazy, and oh my god, there is so much fucking blood. My god, this is what proved to me that Cena was legit. I mean, not just the fact that he was working his ass off, but the fact that he was willing to blade this much for the crowd to be able to tell this story, that he's a resilient babyface that always makes his comeback. I loved it. I love John Cena. I love him so much. But JBL then is starting to dominate Cena. They start to brawl up the ringside area. They make their way up to where a television set is. JBL is choking out Cena with a TV wire. And I'm sure this television was gimmicks when this spot was happening. He's like, ask him if he quits. And then Cena, muffled through a microphone, which I'm sure is covered in dollops of blood, so that's probably why it sounded muffled. Ew, no!
I love that.
Yeah, that's the John Cena that I know and love. There he is. Pulls the wire, sends JBL through the television set, smacking your TV. Indeed, JBL is busted open as well. Then they start brawling on this limousine, and the limo looks like it has been through like 3 different shoots of They Live. It is just battered, bloody. It's dented everywhere. There's a swinging neck breaker on the hood of the limo. Goodness gracious. These guys are actually doing wrestling maneuvers on the limousine, man.
Cena throws JBL into the car door. He does it twice because he's trying to break it off his hinges. And then Cena just gets mad and kicks the door to the point where it rips off the hinges. And then Cena just holds it over his head and he thinks he's going to hit JBL with it. And then he just places it on the hood of the limousine and the fans boo. And I'm like, yeah, you still got to learn, lots to learn, Cena. You don't tease that weapon spot and you just don't do it.
Yeah. He still has a lot to learn. He still has a long career ahead of him at this point. I think he's in his late 20s around this time at the pay-per-view, which is nuts thinking that he's our age. But Cena and JBL then start to brawl up the truck area. Do you want to talk about this truck spot?
Oh yes, I love this. Again, JBL is trying to choke Cena into telling him he quits. Cena takes the microphone and he bashes JBL's head with it a couple of times. And JBL in this great spot, he gets bashed in the head with the mic. He lets go of Cena and he falls like a ton of bricks into a table that is right below him.
Yeah, if you could have edited around those, the shot of those birds that are tweeting around his head like he's stunned, that was JBL's state of being at that point. So he falls.
They brawl into a CO2 tank, and Michael Cole and Taz act like they don't know what a CO2 tank is.
That CO2 tank-like structure that is spewing out carbon dioxide-like gas, you know. That's a Vince McMahon line right there. But Cena and JBL at this point was completely stunned. Cena and him, he hits a DDT on Cena on the little walkway that Cena came in on, and then he's like, quit. He's hitting Cena in the head with the microphone, just Bradshaw's evolution throughout this match, the fact that he's this confident heel, the confident presidential heel, evolving into whatever's left of JBL by the end. He's battered and beaten. He's still saying the same word to Cena to demand him to quit.
I feel this is the point where he realized Cena wasn't going to quit.
Nope. And Cena even said, I ain't going to quit. Never. But
I quit matches has Cena been in his career 3 or 4.
I think he's won every single one.
He is, because there's no way in hell that they would ever let the John Cena character say I quit.
I Quit matches are like, if the Hell in a Cell match was the Undertaker's specialty, I think the I Quit match is John Cena's specialty. You know,
Yes.
I mean, the only difference is John Cena wins all of those specialty matches. You know, it's fucking nuts.
And they've all been good.
Yeah.
I
I
like
mean,
the one with Miro. I
oh,
like the one with Randy Orton.
I love that match with Randy Orton at Breaking Point. Yeah,
I like the one with the Miz.
we're not jumping the gun. This is his best one against JBL. So Cena, after he puts JBL through that table, excuse me, what happens is he grabs, of all things, he takes one of the smokestacks off the truck bed. He's holding it up. It's almost like he's rising up from behind JBL's limo, and I think, like, directorial wise, it's shot really well. He holds up the smokestack after he's hiding behind the limo. He goes over to where JBL is by the entranceway.
People need to realize, in real life, you cannot just rip off the exhaust pipe
No,
to a semi truck.
absolutely not.
Second of all, could you imagine being JBL? Point of view, you're JBL, and you see off in the distance this crazy madman covered in blood holding an exhaust pipe over his head. I would have fucking quit too.
Yeah, because JBL grabs the microphone and he's like, "Stop! I quit! I quit! I quit!" And he's backing up into a wall of plexiglass at the entranceway. Cena's music hits. He is announced still the WWE champion. JBL is standing up, and it's a great image of him, by the way, too. He's standing up, covered in blood, the Crimson Mask, and he just does this. He just does this. This is how you put JBL over in defeat, because he quits so Cena does not nail him through this plexiglass with the exhaust pipe. But John Cena wants to send this crowd home happy, and he batters JBL through that plexiglass anyway, which, again, thank God they didn't pull a King of the Ring 2001 this time. Thank God they actually got the right glass for this spot, you know? So JBL vanishes, and Cena is left alone to celebrate. And what a visual this was.
Again, yes, I want to talk about this visual. Why did it take 6, 7, 8 years for people to realize Cena was legit when you just look at that image of his face covered in blood and him holding up both WWE championships?
As pyro is going off behind him, and keeping in mind, this is like a WrestleMania visual. This is the end of fucking Judgment Day, and Cena is getting this like hero's coronation here, and it's like, honestly, that is an image I will never forget as a fan. It's like one of my favorite images of Cena. That showed that he was here to stay for the long haul, not going anywhere.
Day one in my mind.
Yeah, man, but. I mean, again, the result pretty much was never in any doubt, especially since since Cena had just won the championship and he was just getting sent out on these media tours and whatnot. Especially also since he got the entrance, like this win was telegraphed. I love this match though.
Yeah.
As
a kid,
love this match.
Never organically fell in love with the wrestler not named The Rock the way I did with John Cena. Just, I remember living that. I remember seeing him win the WWE Championship, seeing his album get released, watching every SmackDown, just seeing this meteoric rise. And you know what? I saw that, and it's like, I'm in for the long run. I'm along for the ride.
Me too.
Getting to watch this match live and getting to see Cena beat JBL and that visual of him holding both championships. By the way, this match gets 4.5 stars.
I wanted to give it 5 so fucking bad, but I think I'm going 4 3/4, and I'll tell you why. Because I feel like if I'm nitpicking, first part of the match compared to everything else is a bit more slow paced. I think for a lot of people that might not be everybody's cup of tea. And again, it's a very predictable finish. Even as a kid, I was like, "There's no way JBL's winning the title back at this point. Yeah. There's no way." You know, like even at 8 years old, I was looking at this thing and I'm like, Cena's going out like on tours and everybody is fucking in love with this guy. Clearly, I was in it for the long haul and I still am. John Cena, like, I don't remember another time where I organically grew as in love with a wrestler as I was with Cena. Like, yeah, that was my dude growing up.
Again, I loved every babyface, but there was something about Cena, you know, wanting to buy the album, and I wanted to go see the Marine. Yeah, I know. But
Great
wanting
movie.
to see him for Halloween, and then the story I'm gonna get into fucking meeting him like 6 months later, and just Cena was our Hogan.
He
And it
was.
all culminated at us going to WrestleMania this year and me chatting with the guy in the bathroom, just saying, "Fuck yeah, John Cena's here."
Yeah. Yeah, and you just got to see him whip Rey Mysterio's son's ass at a at a SmackDown.
Oh
Nuts,
God, I
huh?
feel old.
Yeah, yeah, but hey,
Little baby Dom, who's gonna be on the next pay-per-view, Cena winning his first championship, and here we are now. Cena fucking wrestled him. He's
yeah.
wrestling him at house shows. He's wrestling him in dark matches.
Well, with that said, we are just getting started with the rise of John Cena on this retrospective. Stay tuned for more when we talk
didn't
about
give our final score. I think I'm gonna give Judgment Day an 8 out of 10. Very solid show.
I'm gonna go 8.5.
Okay.
I like thinking more and more about it and talking more about this show. I love this event. I really do. I think it deserves to be mentioned in the same breath as Mania 21. I think it deserves to be mentioned in the same breath as One Night Stand. I think it mentions to be deserved in this mentioned in the same breath as Vengeance. But yeah, I think this is the most underrated pay-per-view of 2005, and it's like not even close. It's so criminally underrated. It's so great. So fucking great.
Speaking of, the next two reviews on our retrospective are going to be Vengeance 2005, which is highlighted by the end. I'm calling it end of an era because we are finally at the end of Reign of Terror. Batista and Triple H inside of Hell in a Cell for the World Heavyweight Championship. And ECW One Night Stand. We're going to be doing a bonus review because absolutely we need to revisit that show.
A bonus review? Wait a minute. I was planning on doing One Night Stand anyway because so many of the viewers who love...
I was going to say, because it's not canon in the WWE timeline.
Oh, right.
You can't not talk about this show.
You can't not talk about it, especially because followers of the ZNT Wrestling Show have been begging us when we're going to do ECW One Night Stand.
Well, it happens the same month as Vengeance, so we're going to do both.
Getting to that point, ladies and gentlemen. So expect reviews for both ECW One Night Stand 05, Vengeance 05, both of which are great events in their own rights. WWE Crown Jewel is coming up. We have recently lifted our ban on the Saudi pay-per-views because this is a big show coming up. Roman Reigns versus LA Knight for the WWE Championship. Lots of stuff going on. We got AEW Full Gear.
AEW Full Gear coming up. We're starting to kick back into Full Gear. We have to get a little break from these wrestling pay-per-views, but we have 3 coming up in November. We got Crown Jewel, we got Survivor Series, we got Full Gear. Like we said, we're going to be talking about Vengeance and One Night Stand, and we're going to have a Halloween Havoc review as well.
Yes, we're going to have a Halloween Havoc review, and I will announce this on the air here. October 30th, 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. It's me, Tomas, and our good friend Greg. I fucked that up. Greg Morgan of Good Mic Work Commentaries is joining us once again. It's going to be a blast. I mean, Halloween Havoc 1998. I mean, there's good stuff on that show, but it's remembered for all the wrong fucking reasons. And I can't wait to get into that with you. And I can't wait to hear Greg's opinion on that again, because I know he's reviewed the show in the past, but
it's going to feeling.
Yeah.
Can't masturbate to the main event.
Fucking hell. But yeah, lots to come, folks. Hit that subscribe button. Jam that thumbs up as well. That would be a huge help. Guys, y'all are the best. Thank you again for tuning in, and commence that back talk.